Minimizing food waste. Tips for maximizing ingredients. Introduction. Reducing food waste is not only beneficial for the environment but also helps save money and resources. By adopting mindful practices and creative approaches, you can make the most of your ingredients and minimize waste in the kitchen. Here are some tips for maximizing ingredients and reducing food waste. Plan meals strategically. Plan your meals ahead of time and create a shopping list based on what you already have on hand and what ingredients you need. Aim to use perishable items first and plan meals that incorporate similar ingredients to minimize waste. Practice proper storage. Store perishable items such as fruits, vegetables, and dairy products properly to extend their shelf life. Use airtight containers, resealable bags, or storage wraps to keep food fresh for longer periods. Utilize your refrigerator's designated storage areas and adjust temperature settings as needed. Utilize leftovers creatively. Get creative with leftovers by repurposing them into new dishes or incorporating them into future meals. Turn leftover vegetables into soups, stews, or stir-fries, and use leftover proteins to make sandwiches, salads, or wraps. Experiment with different flavor combinations to breathe new life into leftover ingredients. Embrace nose-to-tail cooking. Utilize the entire ingredient, including less commonly used parts such as vegetable peels, stems, and bones. Turn vegetable scraps into homemade stock or broth, and use meat bones to make flavorful soups or sauces. Get creative with your cooking techniques to make the most of every part of the ingredient. Preserve excess produce. If you find yourself with excess produce that you can't use immediately, consider preserving it for future use. Freeze fruits and vegetables for smoothies or use them to make jams, sauces, or pickles. Invest in canning supplies or dehydrators to extend the shelf life of seasonal produce. Compost food scraps. Create a composting system for food scraps to reduce waste and enrich your soil. Set up a compost bin or pile in your backyard or explore indoor composting options for urban dwellers. Compostable items such as fruit and vegetable peels, coffee grounds, and eggshells can be transformed into nutrient-rich compost for your garden. Mind portion sizes. Be mindful of portion sizes when preparing meals to avoid cooking more food than necessary. Start with smaller portions and allow guests to serve themselves, reducing the likelihood of leftovers. Consider using smaller plates and bowls to encourage moderation and prevent overeating. Educate yourself. Stay informed about food expiration dates, storage techniques, and proper food handling practices to minimize waste. Familiarize yourself with food safety guidelines and learn how to interpret date labels to avoid premature disposal of perfectly edible food. Donate surplus food. Consider donating surplus food to local food banks, shelters, or community organizations that serve those in need. Check with your local food rescue organizations to learn about donation guidelines and drop-off locations in your area. Conclusion. Reducing food waste requires a combination of mindful planning, creative cooking, and responsible consumption. By practicing proper storage, utilizing leftovers creatively, embracing nose-to-tail cooking, preserving excess produce, composting food scraps, minding portion sizes, educating yourself, and donating surplus food, you can make a positive impact on the environment and your community while making the most of your ingredients. So, let's commit to minimizing food waste and maximizing the potential of every ingredient in our kitchens.